this album did go through various sort of changes along the way with producers and styles and so on, didn't it?
Yeah. You got to let something evolve, you know. The vision was there, we just had to stay true to it the best we could. You seem to be making compromises as you're going along, but eventually you're sort of not making the compromises, aren't you? Because things swing around to probably the way you intended them to be in the first place. It just takes a long time to get there.
Yeah, to sort of retain the simplicity of the song is often the hardest thing, and you have to find the top to know where to start sort of coming back down again.
Yeah, well,
we did that pretty quick, didn't we?
Yeah, you know, we're in a technological age, really, and we're sort of bounded basically by the limitations of the parameters of the way the business expects you to do everything. You know, even though you just want to blast it out and just do it and that's it, don't you? But you can't really do that these days.
It sounds like the sort of album that you want to play live, and you could play live.
Yeah, we can. We can do it. We can cut it.
We can, and we will, without a doubt. You know. I mean, again, it's sort of, you can get so involved in the recording process that just the chance to go out and play a 4-minute song in 4 minutes is sort of something that I'm really looking forward to, you know.
Well, just, you know, we got the cassette, ain't we? Like, you got the cassette of your guitar and I got the cassette of my vocals. We're just getting them in sync now.
Absolutely, yeah. We just your Walkman runs at a different speed than mine, doesn't it?
But also the fact that you'd both, you know, been used to the live thing before, that must help a lot. The fact that you've...
I think it will. I mean, we've recently done the video and that was great fun. It was almost like miming, wasn't it?
It was almost like miming.
Yeah.
That was all live as well.
And the first single is The Swalk, which is certainly one of the songs that grabbed you first on the album, I think.
First album, it's the track on the album, that's probably why.
Yeah.
You know,
Was that one of the first songs you wrote together?
yeah, it's the first one, yeah.
It was the inspiration for everything, I think.
Yeah, as I say, we sort of met and spoke about sort of trying to do something to sort of get something back out of the business, really. And Swalk was the first track we wrote. Sean had the verse, I had the chorus, and we stuck them together, and there's Swalk, you know.
When you're writing, I mean, does it tend to work that you do most of the lyrics, Sean, and you do most of the music?
As a general rule.
Yeah. It's not. We're not really, you know. We don't approach it with any preconceived notions of anything, or with any at all. But that's just the way it works out, you know.
Because I know that sometimes those two things happen sort of independently, don't they? You're not always writing together all the time.
Well, we got into the situation where I was sort of putting down tracks at the end of the record, and Sean and I'd speak on the phone, decide what the track was going to be called. I'd just sort of zap over to his house, or he'd come to mine, and we'd just work out a very basic idea for the track. Then I'd put it down, deliver it to Sean, and Bob's your auntie, as they say. Sean would take it from there, and it's we did everything from sitting looking into each other's eyes for hours with an acoustic guitar.
It's going to say looking else.
I nearly did, but
yeah, most of the time we're doing that as well.
Yeah, so we've used every method available, really, to write a song, and I still don't know which is the best because they all work out. So tell you next year, really, I suppose, when we start the next one.
But you've kept that, that thing which a lot of albums lose, which is that sort of demo. You know, it's still got that live energy that you would have probably got on the demos, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we use bits and pieces of the demos because there's a certain magic of the moment that you can never replace, and you know. But yeah, the energy of it and the rawness. I mean, I think it's a lo-fi record mainly because it was made in my kitchen and Sean's sort of wherever it was.
Yeah, under the stairs.
Yeah. But it's that kind of album. Seriously, you can hear dogs barking. You can hear if you listen to it, you know, and it sort of retains that atmosphere, and I like that, you know. Sort
rock and roll dogs.
Absolutely, and cats.
And cats.
Also, again, the fact that you've been around for a while probably meant you could get your own way a bit more on that score, didn't it?
Well, yeah, I think that the one thing that we both separately learned from the business is if you stick to what you want, then people are either going to like it or they're not, and at least we had the bottle to sort of stick for what we wanted, you know, this time out. And it's just, we still got to wait and see whether we were right.
Ultimately, you just got to like it yourself, really. If you please yourself to something, mate, then you know you're going to please others. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it, you know. If you ain't good enough to sort of, to please yourself, to please others, then no point. I mean, we're in the business of just, you know, hopefully making good music. And the standard is, we set the standard, don't we?
Absolutely.
You mentioned Deep Purple, Sean.
Yeah.
There's a few other things I can spot on there, influence-wise. Zeppelin, I hear a bit.
Sure. Always. Got into them lights as well. But I mean, you know, every rock band's got a bit of that in it, you know.
Yeah.
You just take your influences from where you get them. Judy Garland, New Kids on the Block, you know, stuff
Absolutely.
like that. Wherever it comes, we get it.
So what sort of stuff did you grow up listening to, the pair of you? That kind of stuff?
I was, yeah, well after you.
You grew up after me, did you?
No, I grew up before you, slightly. Minutes before, I think.
I grew up listening to Caruso and opera in the house all the time.
How about you, Robbie?
I was obviously into, same as Sean, what my parents were listening to as, you know, a youngster. But then, after the Andrews Sisters, Is Their Life, you know, so I got into the Beatles, I suppose, and then into Free and everybody else that was around. And still listen to the same stuff. If I listen to anything, I still sort of dig back into the past, you know.
Yeah, I think basically the thing is that we like everything, but it's usually when that rock track comes on the radio or that rock track gets to number 2 in the charts or something, like, it just makes the difference, you know. It's just there ain't nothing like it.
There's a rawness about the album, particularly tracks like Radio Silence, which you don't hear very often now. You know, there's a real edge to this music.
So I think that's part of the method of recording, and there was times when it was sheer panic, really.
Yeah. Panic makes for raw.
Like tracks like Radio Silence, we wrote, and as we said, we got the chorus idea originally, and then I just slammed down the backing track really quickly. Sean slammed down the vocal really quickly, and it's got that. It retains that sort of sensibility.
Well, it's a slightly angry sort of track.
Mm.
Well, not slightly angry.
Vicious.
Viciously angry.
How long did the album take to make, start to finish?
It's very difficult to quantify because we, as you said, had a couple of false starts. But in recording terms, possibly about 3 months. But there was a lot of, you know, we had Swark in the bag as a demo, and we changed it very little.
What plans have you got to, to take it on the road? Or?
Well, I think we both sort of, we've got a gig booked in outside. Which tube station is it? Looking at.
Yeah. We might just turn up in Germany one of the days, you know. Just on the ferry or something, you know. Do a few gigs on the Berlin Wall.
We're going to tour, definitely. It's just a matter of when
And how.
and how and who's going to pay for that.
Yeah.
Did you do a lot of touring with Diamond Head in the old days?
All over Europe and stuff, yeah. It was good. I like touring.
Yeah, man.
It's extremely boring, it's wonderful.
Do you find it boring, Oliver?
It's all the hotel rooms and stuff like that,
well,
and
live without that, yeah.
I don't go to bed till about 8 o'clock in the morning,
I never noticed.
and then I get up about 6, you know, just ready for the gig and stuff.
It's a while since you were last on the road, the two of you, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't gigged for about, 4
Well, our
years.
coach had stone wheels, so
Yeah, it has been a while.
square ones at there.
It's one of those weird things that you can't really just sat down the pub and play because people don't want to see you doing that when they've heard your record on the radio or whatever. It's a very strange situation that you get into, that people just don't enjoy that situation, so I had to give that up, which I love, you know. So the only way to do it now is for real, I suppose.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
So that's a project for '91 to get on the road with the band.
Well, I suppose it'll have to be where are we now. A bit like for this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Whatever it takes, whenever.
Talk me through some of the other songs on the album. What are some of the other highlights on there?
I like Ariane, personally. I think that's a nice
I
little
can't
tune.
remember what the tracks are. I usually, when thing's done, I usually avoid listening to it until, you know, so I can try and get some objectivity about it and enjoy it again. What tracks?
Lucky You.
I like I Believe in You.
Yeah, it's a great track. That's one of
'Cause
the
it's sort of-
prime examples of that's the demo from the kitchen at my house, and it's exactly the same as it started out, and there was no reason to ever change it, you know. It's a great track.
Yeah.
Comes through to me the way we wrote it, which was as a pastiche of that sort of track, you know, 60s-ish.
So you've got a big red recording light outside your kitchen door.
No,
Robbie,
nothing at the store. And that's the thing, as you say, the kids had run through, or the dog had run through, or Sean had run through. So So it's
Usually in a hurry to get out.
yeah, not half. Difficult if he doesn't get up till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Or go to bed.
Afternoon.
Yeah.
Because amongst all the, the rock influences on there, there's also some really nice harmony stuff on the record as well.
Yeah.
I mean, is that based on any influences in particular?
I think that a lot of it came from my growing up with sort of the Beatles sort of harmonies, and seriously, the Andrews Sisters, who were the sort of the best close harmony thing that ever happened, and probably,
Great sound.
before or since, and that's where my harmony sensibility came from,